All right, I got a lot for you in this video today. Just a ton of different stats, a ton of different things that we're looking at that talk about how good the hiring of John, not Johnny, right? Even though they call him Johnny, but we all know Johnny Morton, right? Didn't he go into UFC after he was done? Like he started doing mixed martial arts or something like that after he retired from football. He's a bad dude, man. He's a bad dude. And I don't mean in a bad way. I mean in a good way, but it looks like we have our coordinator set. You have Kelvin Shepard on the defensive end. You have John Morton on the offensive end. Here's my question to you. Who are you more excited by and why? And I'm going to give you my answer here in a second, but it's going to kind of roll out through this video. I'm excited about both, but in a weird way. And maybe it's part of the, oh, who is this kind of thing. I'm more excited about John Morton. And I'm going to give you a few different reasons, whether we're going to go into some quotes by Jared Goff, by Dan Campbell, but I'm also going to go in to John Morton's past and what he's done and what he experienced done in Denver in an area that I think we were sorely missing in the last few years in this offense. Something that is simple, something that is easy, and something that will utilize our very best weapon in Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm going to tell you just how he did that. But first, let's get going on some of the quotes that we have on who this guy is. This is an outside hire, but it's also an internal hire. This is a guy who's spent time here with our team and our staff. And this is what Dan Campbell said. Yeah, well, look, I would say he's more comfortable at this time than he was last year. This is Campbell talking about Jared Goff. A lot of that has to do with what we've done offensively. I would say Ben Johnson has done a really good job and his staff. Not only that, what we're doing or where we're going, bringing in Lions senior offensive assistant John Morton has been really good for us, who is at Vegas. But also, we're doing a number of things that he did in LA, so I think those will help. That's the first credit he got. All right? That's not the only one. All right? That's not the only one. Johnson credited him as one of the many people. John Morton, Lions offensive assistant. Look, he's talking about everyone, but there he goes. But here's the one that I love, and Chris actually quoted this, so I won't spend too much time on it. He said, John Morton, man, Johnny's a superstar now. And there's a number of things that he did for us last year and things we've kept, and I really feel like Tanner has helped as well. So not only did he help that year, but Dan Campbell the next year, a year later, was talking about him in October. Like, he's gone. He's on the staff at the Denver Broncos. We're 2 months into the season, 1 or 2 months into the season, and Dan Campbell's still talking about how good Johnny Morton was for them. Not only that, he actually has experience as an offensive coordinator. Now, you're going to sit here and hear that, okay, he wasn't that great as an offensive coordinator. Now, I'm going to give you some stats from that time when he was an offensive coordinator. And then the one thing I can't wait to get to in a few minutes here is talking about the one weapon that we don't utilize in our offense that he absolutely will. Actually even 1.5 weapons. But, all right, he wasn't very good, right? Like, he wasn't very good as an offensive coordinator. Here are the statistics and where the Jets ranked. All right, in points, they were 24th. In 2017, with him as the offensive coordinator, 28th in yards, 25th in plays, 21st in average yards per play. All right, that's not bad. That's more what I look at as 21st. 19th in rush yards, 17th in attempt, 20th in average. Same with pass yards. All right, 24th, 25th, but the average, 17th. All right, so you're sitting here, and it's middle to middle back. None of these are in the back end, which I consider like 25 to 32, right? They're all kind of in that middle range, middling offense. So what if I were to show you what his starting lineup was in snap leaders for that season? The offensive line looked like this: James Carpenter, Kelvin Beachum, Wesley Johnson, Brian Winters, and Brandon Shell. Sorry, stop me if you've heard of an all-star yet, or a Pro Bowler, or anything like that. Wide receivers: Jermaine Kearse, Robbie, formerly Robbie, now chosen Anderson, and Chad Hansen. Who is Chad Hansen? Running back leaders. Bilal Powell. Matt Forte. The corpse of Matt Forte, by the way, after he was done with the Bears. Tight ends, Austin Seferian-Jenkins and Eric Tomlinson. And then to cap it off, the quarterback of all quarterbacks, while aged 38, Josh McCown. Is that the worst offense you've ever heard of? If you told me that was your offense going into the year, I would tell you that is a bottom 3 offense in the NFL. They are reserved. All rankings should be 30, 31, or 32. All right? And he somehow, when much younger in his days, was able to get that offense in the mid to low 20s. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's like this huge accomplishment, but it is an accomplishment. So let's talk about the one thing. This is Stephen Bullock on Twitter. All right? He said, here's some of the things I like about John Morton. I know Sean Payton was the play caller, but here are some great examples of schemes in play action and, wait for it, screen passes that will work very well with the Lions' weapons. So I want you to envision this with me. All right? Screen pass to Jahmyr Gibbs. And one thing that Sean Payton's offenses have always been massively huge on is get the ball to the running back. How many of us after the Commanders game were just clamoring, why is Gibbs not touching the ball more? Why is Gibbs not touching the ball more? I know that we have David Montgomery. Let's hope his knee fully heals up. He still obviously didn't look right. I think Sione Vaki could become a weapon for us in the upcoming years, right? And it was get the ball to the running back. I'm talking Alvin Kamara. Has he ever had success? Oh, my goodness. Under Sean Payton. When we're talking about the running backs in Denver, look, I understand that it's a stable of running backs that aren't great. They just weren't. But if you're talking about pass catching, they all caught the ball at an elite clip, like when they were in. Every one of them. And this is going to be utilized. Get the ball to to Jahmyr Gibbs on a screen pass. Get Penei Sewell pulling out in front of that with Christian Mahogany, with Frank, with Graham Glasgow. You think about these elite athletes that we have on the offensive line. Get them out in space. Get them blocking. Like, that's unbelievable. Then you're sitting here, you get 8 in the box, and then you go over the top to JMO. Like, these are the types of things that you can utilize so well. It doesn't always have to be utilizing your offensive line solely to pass block, right? It doesn't have to be, a trick play, hook and ladder, even though those are a lot of fun, right? Double reverses. Sometimes the best thing you can do is find a way to get the ball to Gibbs in the open field. Get that guy in a one-on-one on the outside on a screen pass. It's over. It's done. That was the one thing that we didn't utilize enough last year. And I would say screen passes. I would say play action. These are the kind of things that are bread and butter. And I think we got a little too cute. And it was instead of, 3 or 4 screen passes and 15 to 20 play actions, it was 4 or 5 trick plays in the championship game. We got a little ahead of ourselves. And also the beautiful thing about these is that they keep these drives extended. They keep it going. So I think that's really, really important. And then I do want to talk about this for a second. I'll do another video on this pretty soon. And one of the big things that Dane Brugler of The Athletic was talking about was the absolute remarkable amount of talent that we are seeing on the defensive line. He said it's as deep as he's ever seen. In fact, he said, and this is huge for our new defensive coordinator, right, Shepard, because it allows you to be a little more conservative, because if your defensive line is doing great, like, that's where I would be spending a late first-round pick. There's so many times where it feels like what we need, it doesn't fall to us in the draft. We either have to trade up or we have to do something different. When we had an early pick, all of us were clamoring for a quarterback. When we had, the number 2 pick back then, remember that? There were no good quarterbacks. We got Hutch. It was great. It was great. Last year, we had to trade up to get one of the elite cornerback. This year, it's looking like he said there are numerous other defensive linemen that could go in the top 50. It's not just Mike Green. It's not just Shamar Stewart. It's not just Walter Nolan. He also listed Landon Jackson, Donovan Ezekuru. I don't know how to say that. Alfred Collins, Deontay Walker, Nick Scroton. All right, Prince Umanmianli. All these guys. All right, Shamir Turner, like the other side of Shamar Stewart, Jordan Birch. Like, there are so many guys, and we'll start breaking these down, that are going to be available at 28. It's fantastic. So many good weapons. Then you maybe go interior line on the second round. I mean, like, this is starting to look like a draft that will set up for us. We don't even have to spend that big in free agency, even though we have the money. A lot of good things that are happening with this organization right now. Excited to see what's next. All right, thanks for watching. This is a good OC hire. Like, the offense is going to look different and even better. Sometimes simple is better. It doesn't always have to be the trick play. It doesn't always have to be all these crazy things. Sometimes the best thing that can happen is, like, get your weapons the ball in unique positions. And a screen pass can be one of them. It's fantastic. Go for it. All right, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.